and I'm going to start sharing my part about how to prepare for AWS exams and certifications and how to pass your certifications successfully. Just to give you a quick background about myself and the certifications I gained. So I cannot say that I have 12 or 13 AWS certifications that some of my colleagues have in the team or in the organization. But what I can say that I joined AWS last year in February. And within 2 weeks of my tenure when I joined, during my onboarding, I got AWS Solutions Architect Associate certification. And then within 10 months of my tenure, I got SA Pro certification. And then like within a year, I got Security Specialty certification. So the thing I'd like to start with, like to become a successful solutions architect, it's not only important to gain all the certifications. Well, of course, if you want to go ahead and get all these certifications out there, please go ahead, please do it. Kudos to you that you have that passion and time and energy to get all the certifications. But what I did and what I think is also good to do to kind of narrow down the scope and to understand why do you need these certifications, right? Like what are the certifications out there will help you in which cases. For example, in my case, as a solutions architect who joined with a junior level and does not have like a great technical background or computer science skills a lot, it was important for me to be able to drive the conversations with my customers in a manner that will fit my customers' expectations. For that, when I started, of course, Solutions Architect Associate is the kind of the basics that for you to understand as an SA to drive the conversation with your customers, right? When they talk about services, so you need to understand which services they're talking about, what are the features, so you can actually take away some of the questions, do some research, and then come back. As a next step then, once you know kind of the basics, it is great to understand the bigger picture. Like when the customers are saying, hey, we're using these services and how they're getting actually connected, we're having issues here, this is the IP address, this is the overlapping things. And then I understood that, okay, I need to prepare for SA Pro because the professional certification will give me that kind of knowledge where I will understand the complex architectures and complex customer scenarios to drive and to deliver the customer results as well. So this was my main kind of objectives within a year to get AWS certifications. And also in the meantime, of course, what I really liked about SA Pro is that it is quite difficult exam. It is complex and it does not involve just one service. So there will be scenarios about security, there will be scenarios about databases, machine learning. So actually you get a sense about all the different services and it will test you to analyze the customer scenario and pick and choose the best solution, which will consist of different AWS services. It was needed, and I thought it is really necessary for my role, for my customers, and I started to prepare. So, of course, I will share with you my tips and tricks how to prepare for a Solutions Architect Associate, Professional, or any other certifications as well. So it's the resources that I will be sharing, they're not particularly targeted for one specific AWS certification. So it will be just resources, and you will be able to tailor based on your certification needs. So alongside with the resources that you will be getting today, and I will share it with you all, I'd like to share another point which probably some people might ignore, And I'm one of those people who advocates internally, even in AWS, when sometimes people are pinging me, hey, JJ, we are preparing for this certification. Can you give us some tips and tricks? And of course, one of my kind of tips and tricks that I share with all of my colleagues internally and with some people externally as well is that alongside to Googling and getting the resources that are needed, it is crucially important to connect with people, like-minded people. And I don't know, you can call it find a mentor. You can call it study buddy. You can call it someone with whom you will be practicing the same thing and you will give the motivation to each other. So I'll give you an example. Within a year, when I got my solutions architect professional certification, so we had internally some kind of a document where some senior SAs, they were putting their names down that they are happy to mentor people, and they were mentioning that they obtained these and those certifications, right? And of course, there were a lot of senior people in the list. And what I did, like personally, I looked at this list and I started to monitor within like a couple of weeks internally about these people, like what they're posting, what are their comments, because mentorship is not about, like my personal opinion, mentorship is not about sharing the knowledge, technical knowledge. Of course, you can get technical knowledge anywhere, Googling it, watching some videos on YouTube, watching, of course, our lovely technical trainer Ashish's videos on DESA channel. So it's not that difficult to get like technical actual knowledge, right? But what it is important during the preparation is that finding person who will have the same energy, the same mentality, and the same passion and empathy what you're going through. Like it's not just technical thing, but it is also something that person will understand and will push you when you need it. Not unnecessarily, hey, you got a deadline, you need to pass it by this time, or who will just cancel the meetings. Like there's some energy involved in that. So that's why I took it really seriously alongside to prepare with technical, but also finding a person who can push me when I need it. And I will be honest, I will be vulnerable here, saying that, yes, I found one person, and you can find his name on my LinkedIn when I shared about my SA Pro certification preparation tips and tricks. So I found that person, and like I put my name down in that list, in that document. By the way, you can do the same within your organization. If you're technically gifted, you have great technical knowledge, and you want to mentor someone internally, it will be great visibility for you. It will be great for you as well to refresh your knowledge, and for juniors as well to learn more. So I put my name down, and then to be honest, so I wanted that person to mentor me with SA Pro, but somehow I managed to forget about the fact that I put my name down. And what happened is that he reached out to me first. He pinged me on Slack that, hey, you put your name down. Would you like to connect for SA Pro? And at that moment, honestly, I realized that is the person with whom I'd like to work on the certification, because he unintentionally pushed me to, let's get started, right? In a nice manner, of course. So I told him that, hey, is that okay if I schedule a bi-weekly meetings at this or that time? What is suitable for you? So we agreed on a specific day. It was Fridays. We blocked our time for half an hour bi-weekly just to kind of connect together and share some ideas, and of course me, who is preparing for the certification, and if I have any questions, I will ask him on the meeting. And I will be again vulnerable and honest that when I was preparing for the exam, I had couple of times I had some breakdowns, right? I was really feeling frustrated that I'm not able to pass the exam. It is difficult. I don't understand this and that. So I had like a specific topics that were really, really tough for me. And having no kind of technical background, especially with these networking things, I don't know, with all these like details, CIDR range, etc. I was really, really struggling, right? In the meantime, that person, the mentor, while he was explaining like Ashish with all the examples with apples and bananas, he was also being empathetic, listening and helping emotionally, just to pass this stage, just to support you that, hey, you will do it. And also, given the fact that he has decades of experience in IT, he was telling me that he failed his essay pro as well. He failed this and that. And he was telling me that it is okay to fail. If you fail, if you think that you will not be able to make it, you will get that at some point. So I just wanted to share you the background, that it's not about just the resources. You get the resources, you Google it, and then you look at it and say, hey, cool, I'm going to prepare. So just don't be narrow-minded that you have the resources, you have the technical knowledge, you pass them, now you're ready for interview, and then you will get a job. So it's not as straightforward as it looks like. It must be some kind of a journey. Even during the interview, when interviewer asks you, okay, you got 13 certifications, AWS certifications, let's say. What is your interest actually? Why did you get 13 certifications, right? If you are able to relate and say that, yes, getting certifications is my passion. I had a variety of customers, so I needed these certifications for my self-confidence, so I can relate with my customers, so I can dive deep into every single specific domain, then yes, great. And you need to be able to back this up with data by sharing your scenarios and examples, because it will be really difficult to say that, yes, I had a customer who needed dive deep in AI and ML, but didn't have any specialists in the organization, in the company. So I was the one who was the brain of all these things. But in my case, my personal opinion with my role, I try to focus on the certifications specifically to my role, to my customers, and try to address. So security specialty came next, because nearly all of my customers in the previous team, in the new team, they are all asking about security. Of course, security is our #1 priority at AWS. And I didn't want to kind of stop the conversation there, because they were asking about other security details. Hey, can we bring our key to encrypt the traffic? And me personally, I didn't know at that time, can you bring it or not? What is the benefit if they bring their own key? What is the benefit if AWS is managing their keys? So like all these details, like being an SA, as Prasad mentioned, that you need to understand your customer's problem and dive deep into details and try to visualize what is the problem. So I couldn't do that, although I was doing research about security, but it wasn't giving me like enough dive deep that I needed, right? So I thought I need security specialty certification to understand more. And to be honest, it was a correct and right decision to actually go ahead and take the exam, because I learned a lot. Honestly, I learned just tons of knowledge that I practice even now. Like after passing the certification, gaining the certification, I drive the conversation with my customers internally when I connect with colleagues, if they have any questions about security, etc. I cannot tell myself that I'm a security specialist, but at least I can drive the conversation on a needed level with my customers. So this is the background. Before you start taking any certifications, try to understand your end goal, try to understand your customers, why you're doing it, and then tailor your journey along the way. So it's not just to get all the certifications. It looks great on the CV. I'll get a job. It will be paying well. So while it is true, try to kind of focus on the main objectives and the important things. So I talked a lot because this is again one of my passionate areas of the subject. Finding a mentor who will push you through the process, not only technically, but who will be able to support you emotionally as well, while you are doubting yourself, thinking you will not be able to pass because others are technically gifted, they know a lot, they are better than you, they have education from there, from here, you don't have it, and you are limited. So that person should be pushing in a nice way that you will gain confidence and of course sharing some technical knowledge as well. And to all the BESA participants and the people who are active on the chat, as I can see, and I'd like to challenge you all why not connecting with like-minded people in our LinkedIn group? Why not posting a post and saying that, hey, I'm preparing for this certification, I'm aiming to complete by this time. Is there anyone else in this time zone we can connect on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, and just to brainstorm ideas, right? You can just talk about security, you can talk about networking, about databases with that person. Maybe there will be things that you missed in the meantime, or discuss the question that person will be able to explain you in a simple way that you wouldn't probably get it from anywhere else. So we're all unique in terms of like how we process the information and how we deliver the information. So another tip, please feel free to connect on our LinkedIn group and with people, and try to find someone or maybe create a group of people where you will gather together, even in real life. If you are in the same city, in the same time zone, you will grow your network, right? It is one of the important steps for you in your career as well. Great. So one of the resources that I used before joining AWS, which really helped me to pass and to go along through the interview, to pass my SA associate within like my second week at AWS. And of course, I didn't stop there with my SA Pro. It helped with my security specialty as well. Is Tutorials Dojo. It's very dear to my. It's very helpful resource that I really love recommending everyone. And I'm not getting any percentage for PR, trust me, and they probably don't know me. It's just me who really likes to share with people useful resources. This is Tutorials Dojo's landing page, specifically cheat sheets. So once you kind of obtain the knowledge about AWS services, like you read the white papers, you built a project, you did some hands-on, you kind of did all the hard work, but you have like 1 or 2 weeks before the exam, and you're kind of nervous that, oh my goodness, should I go again through all these white papers, read all over again, to kind of refresh my knowledge and pass the exam? And the answer in this case, based on my personal experience, is no. Tutorials Dojo has AWS cheat sheets, which is like gift from God, which is really helpful. Specifically, I really like the fact that they have comparison of AWS services, right? So in AWS, like SA Associate certifications with SA Pro, you will have a lot of like scenarios where you will have to choose which service to use. For example, here you see that like, do you need to use Amazon S3, Elastic Block Storage, or Elastic File Storage, right? Or do you, like with RDS and DynamoDB, I think it will be pretty straightforward. Like if it's a relational database, you will go with RDS. If it's non-relational, you will go with DynamoDB. But sometimes you need to understand which storage service based on that scenario will be useful. So here, it's a really nice table. I do use it sometimes even on my day-to-day life when I need a quick information without me going internally, looking into documents, reading through, blah, blah, blah. I need to save some time on this, and I need to quickly get that knowledge, like latency, right? What was the latency or performance of S3? Yes, I can Google it, but if I need to compare it quickly and understand the big picture in a short time of period, for me personally, Tutorials Dojo is my go-to place. And again, it's not a PR, they don't know about me, and it's just my personal opinion, my personal usage. It's not related to my employer or anything else. It's just me. Another great service, so the practice exams, another question that I'm getting from people, practice exams, Tutorials Dojo has practice exams as well. So I personally using and keep using, will be using probably Tutorials Dojo's practice exams. It is probably the most useful practice exams set that I've ever came across, because they have a timed mode, they have educational mode. For example, you answer the question and then you hit the button, it says it's wrong, and then it explains why it's wrong, why it should be, why the answer should be this or not that. It's really, really cool. So based on those answers and explanations, which is not just copy pasted from white papers, but rather like a person sat and wrote all these details in a nice manner. Tutorials Dojo's practice exams, and also some you can find any other practice exams from Udemy as well. So if we go back to training materials, second, my go-to place is a Cloud Guru. Like for my security specialty exam, I needed to learn, really learn about security and all the services we provide to our customers, what are the benefits, which cases to use what. My go-to place in this case was a Cloud Guru. And I will be honest, again, it's my personal opinion. I learned a lot during the course. And what is another important point that I learned and I appreciate when I watch any sorts of trainings, is that it's not about people delivering technical content. It's about the analogy, like Ashish is doing, and they're trying to deliver that technical material in a way that it will not bore the listener, but rather it will encourage them to keep going. Right? And in this case, with a Cloud Guru, specifically the security specialty exam that I took, it was, they were giving examples, and one of the examples I still remember, they were giving examples about, Ryan Cronenberg was talking about John Adams, and then he said, hey, there was a movie actually about John Adams. If you haven't watched it, I really recommend it. And what do you think I did? I paused it there. I was like, okay, I haven't heard about it. I need to go and do some research and watch that movie. I did that, right? And I really enjoyed. I learned a lot about the history, about US history. Like just one training can actually open up other things. And then when I talk with my colleagues, I say, hey, I watched these trainings on a Cloud Guru. Ryan Cronenberg was mentioning this and that. So it's kind of a great conversational point as well. So it's not just about the training itself, but I really enjoy when the people, they put themselves as a whole, not just as in a professional manner that, okay, this is the EC2, this is the S3, okay, carry on. So this is my personal opinion. I like watching in this way, and I keep learning, and it helps me to understand better and keeps me entertaining, to be honest. So I'm not that kind of person who will dive deep into technical things and will enjoy. No, I need to be entertained as well in the meantime. This is me, people. Yeah, I'm being brutally honest and vulnerable here. Another point, of course, you can go ahead with Udemy. So in Udemy, if you literally just Google it, top AWS courses on Udemy, you will have a list of different AWS certifications, trainings that are provided from different resources. I personally used Neil Davis. He is Solutions Architect Associate practice exams, probably the most hardest exams I've ever came across. And but I'm not complaining. Like when I was getting like 60-70% from his exam, I was like, okay, I'm gonna bloody crush the actual exam because it was really tough. But I learned a lot, and I'm really grateful to all his resources, all his trainings as well.